Welcome to the Life of a Marketer podcast. And today's guest is a branding expert that we have on the podcast. I'm going to let him introduce himself. Tell us who you are and what it is that you do.
My name is Dario Herrera, and I'm the happy and very proud CEO and founder of WFR Agency. WFR stands for Winning or Working for Results. Winning for You is our tagline, and really we are a full service branding and digital marketing agency. Anything a consumer can see from a brand online is within the scope of our agency services and expertise, and we're really excited about the opportunity we have to chat with you, chat with your audience, and incredibly passionate about being able to work with small business owners, medium-sized business owners, professional service folks, startups, entrepreneurs, to help them understand their brand. And then once we work with them to develop that brand, to help as many people in their target audience see that, connect to it on an emotional level, and invite them to be part of that community. That's what we wake up in the morning for. That's why when we get out of bed, we're excited to get to the office and take on the challenges of the day for our clients. To just ask the question, like, who's our audience, and who's going to give me the fastest, quickest, least expensive access to that audience, and then what can I do to connect to that audience in an emotional way, so that we are memorable to them. And then the second part, and this I think is what we lead with, really, is what can we provide a value to them? Like, how can we make ourselves valuable to them? How can we be helpful to them? How can we improve their life? Because I think if we come from that perspective, and when our clients come from that perspective, you create a more authentic connection. It's more of a relationship than really, asking someone to buy something or asking someone to be a customer. Then it's a relationship built on value and reciprocal interest, and that's where we find the most successful businesses and brands really take that seriously and take it to heart.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear that. I appreciate that. I can hear your passion coming through. So I really appreciate that. Some people, when they answer that question, it's like, oh, I do marketing, but you give us an answer. Thank you. I appreciate that. So
Of
tell us,
course.
Dario, what's the best thing about being in the marketing industry?
The best part, there's really two things for me, and one of them is purpose driven, meaning I get to help people achieve their dreams. And there's nothing more valuable than that, being of service to someone else, applying my experience, my expertise, my many years of marketing to help them in their dream, whether they're an entrepreneur, whether they're a small business owner, a medium business owner, a larger business looking to scale. The fact that I get to work with them, that they trust me with that relationship, that they trust me with developing a strategy of communications that allows them to connect to their trusted audience is such a incredible honor and such an exciting opportunity, and I take it very seriously. So that's one thing, is helping our clients achieve their dreams. And the second thing is, a successful marketer, uh the marketing isn't without challenges. Every day is a different thing. A client might have a communications crisis, or a client might have a gap in their lead funnel. A client might have a dip in their sales. A client might have a new competitor in the industry. A client might have, some tech issues, some budget issues. So being able to be a partner with them, right? To be able to work alongside them, almost like a virtual CMO, if you will, to help them be guided through these challenges and help figure out problems for them on a day-to-day basis, is really exciting to me. It keeps me interested. It keeps me excited. It keeps me learning, always learning and growing, how I can be of better service to my clients, so they ultimately can be of better service to their audience. And so those are the two things. Really is helping our clients achieve their dreams, whatever those might be, and applying our marketing expertise experience to help them do that. And secondly, helping our clients navigate, the daily challenges, the daily marketing challenges, of being a business owner. They're varied, they are frequent, they can be big, they can be small, and they add up. So being able to be of service to them as they manage, their communication issues and their branding issues and their marketing issues is a huge responsibility that we have that we take very seriously and are excited about.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So what sort of advice do you offer to those that are in the marketing industry right now?
For those of the marketing industry, to me, it's very simple. It's really ask good questions and listen. You know, get to know your brand and or your client. Really tap into their why. Really tap into their authenticity. Because listen, a lot of companies do the same thing, but the founder story, the owner story is unique to that person. Why did they become a business owner? Why did they choose to sell X, Y, or Z? What moves them about getting up in the morning? What part of the business excites them? What makes them different from their competition to the comparative audience? Those are the types of questions that I think aren't asked often enough. I think a lot of folks get into like, oh, who's your audience and what's your value proposition and how are you different, from a product and services perspective. I don't think there's enough emphasis on story. Like, who are you as a person? Why do you love to do this? Why does it matter if someone buys your? Why does it matter to you if someone buys your product versus someone else's? How are you driven to improve people's lives through what you do day to day? And I think the brands that are doing a good job really answer those questions. So, my suggestion to marketers is just spend more time getting to know your client, getting to know their why, and finding that unique story of that individual or that organization, and then help amplify that, through the values, through what the audience gets to see from that audience, because that's what it's going to be a separator. That's what's going to be a real differentiator for that brand versus a pretty picture and or clever copy. Authenticity wins the day. So basically tap into the authenticity, tap into the why, and then lead with that through your marketing strategy.
So talking about, that's kind of in the strategic level, what you're talking about. I'd like to talk a little bit about tactical level because that's what I engage in a lot with ads. What's your once you kind of understand that story and you understand who your clients are trying to reach and why and their story, what's your favorite mediums for branding and what do you do with branding specifically, tactically? I mean, I know that's going to be different for different clients, but can you kind of give us a picture of that?
For sure. First of all, the question I ask is, who's our audience? I start with that. And I try to get as detailed as possible down to, what kind of car they drive, where they shop, what kind of brands they wear, where they get information from in terms of news. Are they, active music listeners? What kind of music? What TV shows do they watch? I really get granular on who the target audience is. And then I ask myself the question, what medium and or platform is going to give me the quickest, fastest, most least expensive, most impactful access to that audience. And for some clients, it could be Facebook. For some clients, it could be Twitter. For some clients, it could be on off platform. It could be that particular audience is on Reddit looking for information, or their YouTube audience. So it's hard to say without having a brand in front of me and a specific goal and a specific audience, a specific tactical measure. But start there, like who is our audience, and get to like understand that audience at a granular level, develop personas that you can speak to. I mean, down to like what words they use, and what kind of car they drive and what kind of jeans they wear, etc. Because that helps drive your communication strategy. That helps drive, the content you put in front of them. And then the second, question, that I referred to earlier is like, who's going to give you access to them? What channel? It could be an influencer in some ways, in some cases. It could be, a strong TikTok campaign. It could be a particular event that if it's B2B and all your clients are going to be at a specific conference. All those different factors have to be kind of considered. But ultimately, that question, drives the answers. Who's going to give me the quickest, fastest, most impactful, and really, cost effective access to that audience, and go from there.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, but I'm gonna hone that in a little bit. I'm wondering,
Okay.
is there a platform right now you find yourself using more than others with your clients?
Uh, that's a great question, and we find ourselves using Instagram and Twitter, quite a bit. We also use LinkedIn. I think probably more intensively and more intentionally than most brands too.
Oh, wait a
LinkedIn for a
second.
long
Wait.
time.
Let me stop you there. You use LinkedIn for branding.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you run LinkedIn ads? Are you doing message? How do you use in LinkedIn for branding?
So it could be through the content we share, definitely through the profile buildup of the particular client, uh, through outreach campaigns, through paid. I mean, people forget that folks who are LinkedIn, they're consumers too.
Sure,
They
sure.
just happen to be, at a more, I don't know if heightened is the right way to describe it, but they're business people too. They own businesses, they own homes, they drive cars, they buy stuff. I wouldn't talk to them in the same way I would talk to them Instagram. So that speaks to a very channel specific approach, because what works on Instagram doesn't necessarily work on Facebook, doesn't necessarily work on Twitter, doesn't necessarily work on LinkedIn. But we have found, in particular for professional services clients, LinkedIn is ripe with opportunity if done correctly. It can't be a bot, and it can't be a connection request and follow up with a sales message. It
Right,
needs to
right.
be a thoughtful, integrated, relationship driven, value driven content marketing strategy that underlines the brand promise and how you deliver that brand promise in a way that's going to add value to them. And you got to really be of service on LinkedIn. It can't be just a veiled attempt at developing a relationship as you find your way into a marketing pitch. That doesn't work. It really takes relationshiping.
Yeah.
It really takes
Well,
providing valuable content
that's not
and
even
so forth.
branding. That's just cold outreach. That's not even. I don't
Right.
consider that to be branding. I consider that to be just it's like cold calling or cold outreach, or it's the same thing basically.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the articles you share, the insight you add to the articles that you share, your brand promise, how you execute the brand promise, all that's good content that helps support your brand, helps define your brand, and gives you brand presence in a way that a simple ad, can't necessarily do. So yeah, we work a lot on Twitter. We work a lot on Instagram. We work a lot on LinkedIn, certainly on Facebook. Some of our clients, have a younger audience, so they're more into TikTok. But I think one of the platforms that we do, that a lot of I think marketers kind of don't do well is LinkedIn.
Okay, awesome, awesome. All right, thanks for sharing that. We're gonna switch gears a little bit. This is a short podcast. What other successful people in marketing like yourself would you like to acknowledge that should be on the podcast?
I mean, there's so many great marketers out there. I don't have a specific list, but I do like people like, for example, Pitbull, who used to be one of my clients. What I love about him is how authentic he is. Right? He's authentic, authentic, authentic. He's who he is always. Whether it's on Instagram or Twitter or anywhere else, he is exactly who he is. And then another one I like who's very smart is Tony Robbins. You know, he's redefined himself. He's obviously built a $1 billion platform, but he's done it through serving people, right? By being himself and by offering hope to folks who need it. So, and not just paid, but through what he shares. there's a bunch of other folks online doing a good job of content marketing and providing service, but I love the Pitbull example. I worked with him, so I got to see that who he is privately is the same person he is publicly, right? There's no mask. It's very authentic, and people, I think, feel that from him, which is part of why he's been so successful. And then from, kind of our philosophy is, how can I be of service to our audience? How can our clients be of service to our audience? And I think Tony Robbins does a beautiful job of that.
I hope I could have one of those two guys on my podcast at some point. That would be amazing. But probably not going to happen, but it would be
They're
interesting.
both great interviews for sure.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm sure. I'm totally sure of it. All right. So for one more question, which is just for fun, tell me the oldest technology you remember using.
Oldest technology I remember using in the context of marketing, I assume, is a laptop that weighed like 11 pounds or 12 pounds. I had nothing on it. Basically, I had a word processor on it,
It was
no
probably like
design stuff.
the body was probably like that thick, right? Like real.
Yeah, man, it was pretty significant, and then of course I remember I was a big BlackBerry guy too. So I used BlackBerry a lot, in my early days in my professional life to communicate with clients and communicate with my staff and so forth. And so, a definitely too heavy to carry laptop with zero functionality outside of word processing and a BlackBerry are the two pieces I would say that were very formative in my early years of marketing. And as you can see, I've got a lot of gray in my beard, so I've been in marketing a long time. But those two bring back fond memories and definitely were fun to kind of leverage when I first started.
That was a unique answer. No one's actually said a laptop so far. So yeah, I remember the first time I saw a laptop, and man, I thought it was the coolest thing. And it was like the screen was like this thick, and the guy was like,
Yeah.
I'd like to open it up. It was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I got a cool MacBook now. It's sleek, it's cool, it's pretty, it's light, it's got a
Yeah,
big screen, it's got
yeah, it
every
weighs like a
program you can
pound.
imagine.
Yeah,
You know, uh, but yeah, I have fond memories of that brick I used to carry, and did a lot of good work on it, did a lot of good writing on it for clients.
awesome, awesome. Uh, Dario, thanks so much for jumping on the podcast with it. I appreciate it very much. Everyone, this has been the Life of a Marketer podcast. You can catch us on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The best way to get to the podcast is to subscribe to YouTube. You can also send me an email, jared@hiveleadmarketing.com, if you'd like to be added to our email list. We also stream it on Tuesdays and Thursdays at around 11 on social media. So you can also catch us there if you'd like. Thanks so much, everyone. This has been an awesome podcast, Dario. Over and out.